Thank
way
you
of
for having
saying,
me.
oh, it's my pleasure. Believe me, it is
Oh,
my pleasure to do this. It's so nice to talk to a filmmaker and a first-time filmmaker, I take it.
yes,
So
yes.
I myself am also a first-time filmmaker. It's
Oh,
weird. The story is weird. I won't belabor you with the story, but
well, I'd love to hear about what stage you're at and how you're feeling.
feeling good actually, all things considered. I I'm now making a second movie. I'm getting the crew together for that. We need to have a production meeting. I've already done one reading with the cast. It's just so much. I just enjoy it so much, just connecting with other people and doing this.
And
Do you have that same kind of feeling?
yeah, I did. And it's extra interesting that you are such a creator and a writer, but you're also talking to other creators and writers. And how's that? How does that relationship or how does that in your creative process work?
I find it just really helps me. It helps me to know that there are other people out there dealing with all this stuff and
So it's a
simply to
little
talk it out.
therapeutic.
It's a little therapeutic, but I also want people to know about it. It's like people should know about this stuff. Everything that all we're going through to bring this to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
But
what you
there's a
mean.
process.
I'm definitely always thinking of it from the marketing side, and it sounds like you as well with talking to other creators is a way of collaborating and networking so that there's a greater audience.
Yes, absolutely. I'm curious to know, would you consider this, I know you consider it a psychological thriller, a Kafkaesque thriller at that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
gotta say, you're right about that. Boy, this movie was really something.
Thank
It
you.
wasn't always easy to watch, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, wow,
I mean,
that's
I
very kind.
genuinely, especially after listening to your TED Talk, I was just like, wow, three
Yeah.
steps. Some of them not as easy as others, I think.
Yeah, a lot of years and tinkering and thinking about making something that doesn't just work on the surface level of
Yes.
drama or enjoyment, but you can ride that. But if you're willing to dive in a little bit, there's supporting material and thought that give you an opportunity to create arguments for um, some kind of thinking or some kind of decision making that you're going through. And on that level, I think it offers something a little bit more profound or personal to the viewer. And that was a tough thing to straddle for the last 10 years on making sure that we can accomplish that goal. And but I do feel like we've done it. We showed it at the Indie Vegas Film Festival a week and a half ago, and the reception and the comments and the crowds telling me different areas of their life that resonated with them with the film, and so I'd consider that a success with the goal from the beginning of making the movie to be able to do that. And it's something that I've always loved in independent film and films, especially when writing the movie. I was taking film studies classes, German cinema, Russian cinema, Italian cinema, film noir,
Hmm.
science fiction film, and having to write these papers and could what do these movies have in common? Why are we studying them? What makes them noteworthy? Why do people feel like they have to keep rewatching them?
Mm.
Some of these key themes were important when going to make this film. The extra hard part about that would be having the $0 budget and just being kids with
Yes.
cameras and trying to do something so profound like this. And there's a level of naivety when you're young and feel invincible and ambitious. I don't think I'd be able to do that today, but I knew that then that we'd have the time and resources to be able to do it, probably only then. And so that's why we were in such a rush to get it done. And I knew that it would take over a decade to edit the film, but to
Hmm.
to make it, we had that one summer in
Wow.
college. So
What year was this?
2012. So I was
Wow.
a sophomore going into my junior year of college.
My goodness.
Hmm
And what was it that caused you to ultimately? I saw somewhere, maybe it was the TED Talk, where you talked about having the idea at the age of 14, I think, or
Yeah,
12.
so in
So
high
that's a long
been
time
making
coming.
yeah, so been making videos with for fun with my friends, never took it too seriously since middle school. In high school, we created a movie making class or a club that turned into a class, and we said, let's make a feature film. So I think the original like percolating of the idea and the themes and location scouting and what resources do we have available stemmed back from 2007. So uh, maybe 15, 16 years old.
Hmm.
And it just continued to evolve until 2012 when we felt that my writing partner and I felt that we were ready to uh, get the ball rolling on filming.
Yeah. And in terms of locations, I noticed some were interior, but enough exterior to where you could potentially run into a permitting issue.
Right, right.
I assumed
Yeah,
there was a certain amount of run and gun
yeah.
employed here.
I think in a way that only, kids with cameras moving quick could accomplish. Uh, and knowing the because we were from South Florida, knowing these unique special locations, these are locations that you can't normally film without permits or without proper safety and insurance,
Hmm.
and so that's another cool thing that the movie does have that is a little bit more unique with micro budget films. Another thing about micro budget films is the utilization of a few locations. And so it's easier maybe if you do three locations. Maybe what if the whole movie was in one location? It's a quick way of making a film with needing less resources. But I think it was important for us to take that into consideration, but also what if we didn't need to be limited to that? What if we did the complete opposite and completely opened it up to the world and wherever the characters would take us, even if that was over 100 locations, over 100 scenes, which it did turn out to be. So while still keeping that $0 budget, we were able to have a higher production value just
Yes.
by freeing ourselves of the location concern.
Wow. That is amazing. I was going to ask you, how do you make a movie like this on zero budget? How do you get the actors and the crew
Yeah, I think that if I didn't
and the
have
underwater camera?
yeah, lots of resources. There's that saying good, fast, cheap, and you get to pick two when you're making production. And so we definitely said good and cheap, which meant that it was going to take a lot of time. And
Yes.
so I think if you're working on anything creative over a long period of time, it's kind of like fishing where you can catch a little fish and then you could reuse it as bait and you can catch a bigger fish and you can use that to reuse as bait and you can catch a bigger fish. And so, because we had the luxury of time, especially when planning the production, we're able to continue to grow different opportunities and relationships. So, knowing that we were going to be making this film, um, the catalog of people willing to work on it and locations we were able to find and stories and props continued to grow. I've always been resourceful and making videos with my friends and viral videos. You kind of learn how to be, and at the same time, we had the digital revolution happening, so you didn't need tapes or film to make a movie. So that saved a lot on cost. The cameras were also good with low light. You have battery powered LED lights, a means of distribution, things that you can learn online. Uh, and for actors, writing around people that I know, the main character in the movie is my sister. The bad guy in the movie is my stepfather. The main character is my best friend. So these are people that I know that I could write around and write dialogue in a way that I know that if they deliver it, there's going to be truth behind it.
Hmm.
And a few other means of how we approach the production process all contributed to this naturalistic type of dialogue and acting where a lot of people came up to us after the screening and were so surprised to hear that this was the first and only time that these people have ever acted before.
Yes, they're all very, very good.
Thank you.
Really, great job of directing.
Thank you.
I know
I
I can
would,
appreciate those words.
yeah, yeah. We received the Best Director award at the Vegas Film Festival as well. So
That's awesome.
that was exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Everyone should see this movie. I swear to God, I'm going to recommend it for everybody
Oh,
because it has such an important message about being
right.
intentional about your choices. And
Right.
I love the part where you just learn and don't regret.
Thank
If you
you.
have a regret, you better figure it out soon and make another change.
Yeah, it's kind of like the worst decision is indecision, and
That's it.
we have this one life, and we can sit and watch things happen. We can make things happen, or we can say, "What the heck happened?" But
Exactly.
there's something there's something special to be had in each of those decisions. But the most important is to make a decision, and I think when you watch the film, when you have that kind of in mind, and you have that reminder you're helped to realize at what out of these three, what type of person am I? And sometimes that helps when making decisions is first realizing um, who you are.
Yes. It's like interrogating yourself. Who am I really?
Yeah.
And if I went the opposite way, how would I feel? Is it instinctively good for me? Is it something I'm shying from for the wrong reasons? All these things are,
I think that's what good art or independent film and cinema should aspire to be, is something that isn't just trying to tell people what to think or preach, but hold up a mirror in a way that people are able to see a reflection of themselves clear enough that they can see something new that they hadn't seen before
I
within
like
themselves.
that.
Thank
I
you.
like that so much, honestly. Um, that's what I always look for in entertainment of any sort. Whether I'm reading a book, or watching a TV show or a movie, something I can relate to, something that I can say, oh yeah, wow, that's really good. Even when they're entertaining, even if they're just silly movies, there's usually something in there that kind of connects somewhere.
Can I ask you what your favorite line or scene or
Oh wow. Oh gosh. That's hard to say because there were so many parts where I just kind of went, oh, wow. Like, the way you brought in the eye doctor. You keep looking at these screens. You're not blinking. What's that? Not blinking? That can mean two things. It means you're staring at screens too much, or you have an unblinking view of the world. Something like that. I mean, there's a reason why he's fearful. I mean, and I can understand it. It's funny because you mentioned something in your biography about some of this comes out of traumatic, difficult experience from the past. I've been through difficult experience in the past. I know what that's like. It
right.
sucks.
It
And
definitely affects how you see the world.
it does. It does. And it does make you more cognizant of how differently different people will view the world. Because I don't know about you, but I've moved around a lot when I was a kid. And it was a little bit disruptive to say the least. So,
Right.
but I learned quickly that, oh, things in California are very different from things in New York City, which is also very different from things in the DC area, I'm in Columbia, Maryland now, which is kind of like between DC and Baltimore, which are like two different universes too, in their own
Right.
way. So it's just really interesting and intriguing when you deal with that kind of difficulty, any sort of difficulty like
And
that.
sometimes it's interesting from the writer perspective to even discuss it because
Oh,
I think
yeah.
my main attempt was writing something honest in a way that only I would be able to tell. And by getting that specific, it became a little bit more universal for others. But I have my own ideas when I watch the movie and also self-discoveries. So sometimes some of the things and that I might think about, I don't believe to be the intention of the movie, but that's something maybe I get out of it. So is a
Hmm.
blurred line sometimes. Just if I were to tell you how I felt about a scene or something, does that make it the intention of the film? I don't believe so. But have you experienced that as well with some of your
Oh,
writing?
that I'm saying something that I didn't know I was saying.
That you're saying something that you believe true about the story that um, might not be.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I frequently run into situations where I think I've made a point and people are confused. I'm like, I'm not getting it. Okay, okay, I'll work on that. Um, Gee, I thought it was perfectly clear. No. And
And
also
maybe
the
it
idea
shouldn't
of getting
be.
there faster. People are
Yeah.
always telling me, get there faster.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
This is what's
But
gotten me into
but
shorts, I think. But I really admired that you made a whole feature. That's an undertaking.
yes, definitely a lot of work, probably a bit more than I knew that it would be a Mount Everest of a climb. I probably didn't know that it would feel like two Mount Everests of a climb. I
Yes.
had been making some videos and they did well, and I experimented with new ways of telling stories when making these videos and capturing real moments with people who weren't actors and finding the story, setting up situations, plopping it in the real world, filming what would happen, leaving the door open for magic moments, and understanding that the longer we left that door open, the more that we'd have, but it just meant a lot of work in the editing. But
Yeah.
I love editing. I love editing in real time while I'm holding the camera, thinking about how the edit's going to happen. And so making these videos, I said, okay, so making a movie might just be like 100 of these videos. And if each video takes me a couple months, a few months to edit, then that's just like a few months times 100. Well, I think that was true. But then there's another layer of now I have all these scenes. Now they have to be put together. And it's almost
Yes.
like starting from scratch or something completely or entirely different. And so instead of like a few months, to do this final thing of the whole movie, then there's this extra layer that I probably didn't account for as much, where I thought it would just be piecing these scenes together. No, at the end of the day, I had a 5 hour cut of the movie.
Oh my
With
gosh.
my so things had to be consolidated and rethought out while still retaining the entire story within my head. And so there's different iterations there that probably added another few years to the process, even after I had that 5 year cut.
Sounds like writing a novel, except
Yeah.
with video.
Oh, yeah. The original script was at least 1,000 pages of notes and writings that had to be figured out. How do we put this into the story and the screenplay format? And then once we got on set, how can we say it a couple times and then throw away the script? And then once we got to the editing, how can I completely throw away all of that and re-see what we have? And only then I think that we'd be unjudgmental enough to see what the special stuff was and not just holding on to the original intention.
Oh, I will say one of the things I remember most about the movie is the continual attempts by the girl to reach out to Nathan and his continual, yeah, I have to go to work later, maybe sometime.
Yeah, I think that's definitely
That's one of the things I
the
remember.
internal struggle of the introvert or someone who the world is calling them and is so open and they have this thing inside of them that makes it like a wall or so difficult to reach out even when other people seemingly want them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can just end up. isolating yourself terribly that way.
I think it's a spiral or a void where you kind of enjoy it though, where
Hmm.
uh, if you're feeling depressed or removed or detached from reality, it feels a little safer not to be around other people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can completely understand that sort of frame of mind. Do you have a favorite movie that's out there?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I love hearing other people's. Uh, if I had to name one, I would say Catch Me If You Can, which is the Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg film.
Excellent film.
And it's a a well-made movie, great story, but I think when you ask someone what their favorite movie is, sometimes what's included is something personal. You can kind of learn something about someone. Uh, didn't think more like this until later, but some of the themes of Catch Me If You Can are like the whole running away or finding yourself, or at a young age, trying to discover who you are, even if you have to make it up or storytell. And so there's some like key parallels between, my filmmaking journey and the making of my integrated marketing company and Frank Abagnale's story there, and the broken household and running and finding yourself. So I think it's a beautiful story and something that resonates with me. What about you? What's your favorite movie?
My favorite, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I will say Michael Clayton is one of my very favorites.
Great,
I used to
great.
practice law, so of all the legal movies that are serious, that one is my favorite. My other favorite lawyer movie would be My Cousin Vinny.
Oh,
Both of them are fairly realistic in the sense of they deal with legal ethics and, stuff, and they deal with in the case of My Cousin Vinny's, it's actually a fairly convincing courtroom scene in the sense of he really does do real cross-examination. Although with the woman with the glasses, that you wouldn't do that. You totally would not do that because you never know what she's going to say.
yeah.
You always have to know the answer before you ask the question. Anyway, having
No,
said
that's
that, those
great.
are
I
two of
love
my
I
favorite
love good
movies.
courtroom movies. I even took a class in college called Real Law.
Oh
It's,
gosh,
it's spelled REEL, and it was just the analysis of different courtroom dramas.
there's
Uh,
some good ones,
there are.
and
It's a
then there
great
are some bad
genre.
ones.
Yeah, yeah, but I definitely think maybe a little bit more on the good side. It's more exciting to see cross-examination and the drama that can happen between
True.
two opposing arguments. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, they tend to dramatize it quite a bit, but most court cases are pretty boring when you come right down to it.
True, true.
But that's okay. I'm into, conflating the conflict a little bit just for entertainment's sake and all that. But anyway, so when is your film going to be available to the public?
So we're continuing to do the festival tour right now, probably for the next um, 6 to 8 months, and then around the end of that, we're looking at uh, online distribution, streaming services, available on YouTube, Apple TV, Tubi, Amazon. And so I think just follow along at contradictionmovie.com and stay subscribed to our newsletter or Instagram at Contradiction Movie. And we'll be updating from there on where you'll be able to see it on streaming.
Fantastic. Good to know. Everybody see this movie. It's fantastic. I'm telling you.
Thank you. And thank you for having me today.
Sure thing. Would you say it qualifies as a neo-noir at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good. I can put it on
Yeah.
my podcast then.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely got it's definitely got the noir elements.
I love it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, a little hard to classify the movie, huh?
Kind of.
into
It's
a specific.
psychological thriller, noirish, a noirish psychological thriller.
Yeah, yeah. Docu style, existential. I think it
Yeah,
definitely fits into the bureaucratic, chaotic
yeah,
Kafkaesque world, and it's just a fun ride. And I
it
think
is.
most maybe not psychologically thrilling from a physical stakes place, but actual psychological stakes within our own thinking and how we view and approach the world and decide how we interact or engage with the world. So
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we finish?
no, I think I appreciate your like thoughtful and engaging questions on
Thank you.
the meta subsurface level ideas behind the movie, and we're not just talking about this happens and this happens and this happens, but why did things happen and what was going through my head and the characters' heads to make such a an interesting movie, and I appreciate that because I think that's what we want to do is change or introduce new ways of storytelling uh, because independent film is a should be a grounds for experimenting and new ways of telling stories. And we were nervous about distributing this film because it might not meet classical audience expectations. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to set that aside for a minute and experience the movie, I think it ends up being a little bit more worthwhile because the years over a decade of work and thinking are right there on the screen. And it's very clear when you see it how much work it takes to do this stuff. And the work pays off and you get what you pay for in time.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And I just love hearing it. So thank you so much for being here, Mr. Kafka.
Thank you.
And kudos to your relative who wrote that short story about the bug that just really gutted me when I first read it. I read it when I was very young and I was like, oh no,
Yeah, I
oh
was
my
excited before
God.
even this movie to make the metamorphosis, and we're excited now to that's the next project that we're working on, and
Oh,
hopefully we can
wow.
talk again in the future about the feature film adaptation of the Metamorphosis.
Wow. Kafkaesque.
Mhm.
Totally.
Yes.
Do you think being named Kafka has helped you here?
Not yet, but
Not
it's
yet.
something that I do think that will be part of the process, and everything happens for a reason. And Um, there are some parallels in the way that we look and the way that we write that are sheer coincidence and not to be thrown to the side, but utilized for what we're working on. And so I'm excited for that because I think that Metamorphosis is a brilliant story. It
Mm.
just exists so much on the metaphorical side and the brilliance of that book. So how do you make something so literal as a film out of something so metaphorical as a short story? And I think the only person who can adapt Franz Kafka might be Pierce Kafka. So I'm excited for that.
Well, I'm excited to see what you do.
Thank
I will
you.
be following. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks, and have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.